The Wally Show podcast is our daily radio show heard live through the WayFM app each morning and hosted by Wally, Gavin, and me, Betty Rock. For more fun, be sure to connect with us at wayfm.com/Wally.
The Wally Show podcast is brought to you by Colorado Christian University Online, where you can earn a degree online just like Betty Rock. You can learn more at ccu.edu/Wally. Finding the good in the bad. It's news-ish on The Wally Show.
Sadly, the death toll from the flooding in Texas continues to rise. Over 100 people are dead. 11 girls that were swept away from that Christian summer camp are still missing, and they had already lost 28 kids from that camp.
So sad. And I even saw on TikTok last night where there was like a bus of them that were able to get out, and they were singing Christian songs to keep each other calm. And there's devastation all through the windows that they're passing by.
That's interesting that you say that, because I want to touch on some of this too, because like when tragedies hit like this, it's devastating, and you see the personal loss, and it causes people, believer and non-believer alike, to question, if God is so good, why did he allow this to happen? And I think that's a fair question. It's one that we all have struggled with. In fact, I've wrestled with that for years, and it sidelined my faith for a while. And I think it can be even harder for believers to wrap their head around this, because we believe God is active in our lives. We believe when we pray, it matters. And we believe that he is powerful enough that he could stop things. So when he doesn't, what do you do with that? You know, and you look at the effect that something like this had on these poor families and people, and you ask, where's the goodness in that? Well, the Bible doesn't shy away from that question. In fact, it's filled with stories of people who cried out to God in confusion or fear or frustration. But maybe if you struggle with this area, or you watch this story and you're doubting things, maybe this perspective might help you a little bit, because we learn through Scripture that God, like his goodness, isn't always proven by the absence of pain, because he's very upfront with you. You know, Jesus said there will be trouble in this world, but there's always a but I have overcome that trouble. Like he promised you are going to have troubles. He never promised you that you were going to have this easy life, you know, as a believer, but his presence is there in the midst of all of this pain. And so that's the thing that you can tap into, and you hit on it perfectly. Here's a group of kids that just lost half their camp, driving away, still singing songs about God's goodness and his faithfulness. Like, how do you do that? Well, you do that because it's something that is intrinsic in you, because you've believed in God, and you believed in Jesus, and you believe that his words are true. And we live in this broken world. And I think part of the important part of Jesus in the story is that Jesus knew firsthand what it was like to have hurt and have pain and to weep over tragedy. And he's still, the Bible talks about, he's still close to the brokenhearted. Now, it's difficult when it doesn't change the outcome of something, because we're a very outcome-based people. You know, when things don't go the way we look, like we think they should look, then we think that it was wrong, or, you know, where was God in
when
this?
It didn't go with our plans.
Exactly. And my experience has been, my plan never looks like God's. Mine always is the path of least resistance. Mine's always the easiest on me. Mine's always the best for me, you know, and God's plans are different than that. But God's goodness can be seen, you know, in the comfort of people who cling to him in the unimaginable. It can be seen in people that go and rescue people and help people, because that's people living out their faith. And if you see stories like this and you want to be proactive in it, but you're like, I can't go to Texas and help with flooding relief, but I feel kind of powerless in this moment, you know, there is things that you can do. And one of those things is we partner with Convoy of Hope. You can help the people that are helping people. That's a good thing to do, and it's very proactive.
And something that's great about it too is, you know, sometimes we have all good intentions. We want to be there. We want to help. We want to be the hands and feet of Jesus. But sometimes these organizations like Convoy, they have their act together. They know what they're doing, but they do need support. And we've made it easy for you to support Convoy of Hope. It's so simple. When you text Convoy, that's CONVOY, to 91979, we will send you a link. When you click on that link, it'll give you options on how you can support them so that they can help those people, because they are already there ready to help.
And one other part of this, I've read stories from professionals on child psychology, like how to deal with these tragedies with your kids. One thing I would say is, if you're going to support like Convoy of Hope's work, do it with your kids. Go, look, I know this was a scary thing and you saw this and there are people that are hurting. We want to help. We want to be a part of this story. Now, we can't go there, but this is a way that we can help. Here, click on this here, and mom and dad are going to do, make them a part of it. And I think that you can help walk through some of the questions and the fears with them while you're doing something that is proactive and can help people. So there you go. That's going to do it for your news for this hour. Uplifting WayFM, this is The Wally Show. Molly, what's going on?
Well, I was just hearing what you were saying about the flooding in Texas, and I love me some Francis Chan. I don't know if you know who Francis Chan is.
I do.
He is a mic drop kind of guy, and I read this about 3 years ago. He said, if God were small enough for me to understand, he wouldn't be big enough for me to praise.
Oh, that's a really good turn of phrase. I do love that, because I had to come to a place in my own faith years ago where I wanted to understand God and his mind and the way he does things so it would make sense to me. But then I was reminded that, the Bible says his ways are not our ways, and we will never understand him. And if we did, then we would be like God. That's where we got into trouble with Adam and Eve all the way back in the garden. And so I had to be okay with knowing and accepting the fact that the God who made everything I see, the God that could make volcanoes and could do all these amazing things, doesn't owe me an explanation for why he does the things he does. And that's really hard for a control freak and an 8 on the Enneagram to come to terms with.
Right. And it is. He is in control. And I'm just going to be blunt here. If I was put in control, it would be horrible. So I'm glad he's there and I'm not.
I don't know. If I was in control, I think I would rock this thing.
No, you wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't.
We would not be here today. Nope.
We would all be wearing hair gel and too much jewelry and all of that.
Yeah, you're welcome is all I have to say to that. Uplifting WayFM, this is The Wally Show. That is the band We Are Messengers, one of my favorite songs from them. And I love Darren. Darren is a very intense guy, and he's
passionate.
Irish. Yeah, he's from Ireland. And one thing I learned, I just was in Ireland, and I learned that everyone in Ireland is that intense about everything. About this, it's an intense group of people, but fun, But I love his perspective on a lot of faith type stuff. So he had this great comment the other day on how we try to make Jesus appeal to people, but we change things to make it more palatable, and that absolutely and ultimately is not good for them.
I think we have an opportunity to share truth with a generation of young people who are hearing all kinds of ideologies and ideas that are counter to the gospel. So the answer is not to dilute the gospel and make it more tasteful for a younger demographic, but the gospel invites you into an incredible story where the lost and the lonely and the least find rescue in Jesus. We need to stop trying to upsell Jesus. We need to stop trying to make him more attractive. He doesn't need salesmen. He needs sons and daughters.
Yeah, we market Jesus as a product, and I heard a pastor once say, if Jesus was a product, he would be the worst product in the sense that the way we want to consume things. It's like, oh, well, Jesus will fix all your problems. That's what this product does. It solves your problems instantly. And that's not how Jesus works, but that's how we sell him.
Right. I think it comes down to perspective. When we have an earthly perspective, when we value what we can get, what we can earn here on this earth, we would say it's a bad product. But that's because Jesus's goal is not anything that's perspective here on earth. It's more of a heavenly perspective.
I like how he wrapped that up, though, at the end where he said, God doesn't need salesmen. He needs sons and daughters.
Say it like him.
God doesn't need salesmen. He needs sons and daughters. Sounds like Braveheart for a second.
They can never take out for enough.
Yes, exactly. I love how he says God. Like you feel it when he says that, you know. But yeah, that's a great point. And so this is what I'm thinking. Let's kind of discuss this a little bit. What else is it that God doesn't need? You know, because we always tend to think, oh, well, God needs this and he needs this and he needs this and I've got to do this and I've got to do this. But I think there's a lot of things that we think that God needs that he doesn't need. Like one of them is, I don't think he needs us screaming on street corners about who he is, you know, and like trying to scare people into heaven, you know, because of hell. Like, I don't think he needs that kind of marketing. You know, like I think that does more harm than good. I think those people in their soul think they're doing the right thing, but he doesn't need people that are like fighting other people about the gospel, you know, personally. So that's mine. What's yours? 855-33-WAY-FM. What is that thing that, as you look about it and you think about your faith and everything, what is that thing that God doesn't need? 855-33-WAY-FM. We'd love to get your perspective on this right now. What are those things that Jesus doesn't need?
He doesn't need us to put out an image of perfection, you know, that we've got it all together. I know for myself, my past is so broken. I sometimes don't feel like I want to share my story or tell my story with people because I don't need that judgment because I ain't perfect. I'm not there. But on the other side, my husband keeps telling me, your story, because you're broken, is going to speak to those, you know, who have come from, you know, maybe something similar.
And not to be too cliche with it, but your mess can become your message. I know that's on Bible pillows and Bible bookstores all over the place, but it's actually true. It's that the stuff that, you know, God redeems in our lives is the exact same stuff that can connect with somebody else that's walking through it and hasn't found God yet. And so that's great. I love the quote from Mark Hall. He told me one time, he said, the world doesn't hate Christians because they mess up. The world hates Christians because they mess up and they pretend that they don't. And he's right. People want authenticity from people today, and to be able to say, look, I'm a Christian, but I struggle in this area. And that's one of the things I love about Darren. Darren is so gut level honest about like his own struggles currently as a Christian artist, as a man, as a believer, you know, and I think that's why he's doing so well and why people gravitate to him, because he doesn't just talk about his faith. You feel it.
Absolutely. Every time you guys have something from him, I'm like, okay, I got to listen to this because he's amazing.
What are those things that Jesus doesn't need?
He doesn't need us to put out an image of perfection, you know, that we've got it all together. I know for myself, my past is so broken. I sometimes don't feel like I want to share my story or tell my story with people because I don't need that judgment because I ain't perfect. I'm not there. But on the other side, my husband keeps telling me, your story, because you're broken, is going to speak to those, you know, who have come from, you know, maybe something similar.
And not to be too cliche with it, but your mess can become your message. I know that's on Bible pillows and Bible bookstores all over the place, but it's actually true. It's that the stuff that, you know, God redeems in our lives is the exact same stuff that can connect with somebody else that's walking through it and hasn't found God yet. And so that's great. I love the quote from Mark Hall. He told me one time, he said, the world doesn't hate Christians because they mess up. The world hates Christians because they mess up and they pretend that they don't. And he's right. People want authenticity from people today, and to be able to say, look, I'm a Christian, but I struggle in this area. And that's one of the things I love about Darren. Darren is so gut level honest about like his own struggles currently as a Christian artist, as a man, as a believer, you know, and I think that's why he's doing so well and why people gravitate to him, because he doesn't just talk about his faith. You feel it.
Absolutely. Every time you guys have something from him, I'm like, okay, I got to listen to this because he's amazing.
Hey, Wally, do you have a minute?
Sorry, busy.
I have cake.
Oh, what do you need?
Yeah, see, that's a perfect example of, even though we are busy, we make time for what's important.
Yeah, because going back to school as an adult, you're busy with work, you've got family, but if you want to make your education a priority, trust me, you can do it. Betty did.
Like when I first started, I was super intimidated because it had been a while since I've been in school, but I mean, from the very first conversation, I felt like they were setting me up for success.
Yeah, and going back to school with CCU's flexible online courses makes it so convenient.
Yeah, and what's so cool is every class has a biblical worldview perspective. And so you think, well, how can they turn math into a biblical worldview? They find a way.
Yeah, and that was one of my jobs when I was teaching at CCU, was integrating not just the facts and figures of things, but how your faith plays into what you're going to do.
CCU offers Christ-centered higher education, transforming students to impact the world with grace and truth.
Cultivate your mind without compromising your heart. Get started today at online.ccu.edu. Colorado Christian University is a non-profit impact partner.
Makeup's done? Hair's did?
This is probably one of the most glamorous moments of my life.
Time for News-ish with Betty Rock on The Wally Show.
Now, Wally, you are the one that has TSA pre-check because you're bougie like that.
I am.
What caused you to want to get TSA pre-check?
Being annoyed when I traveled, like standing in long lines.
A given.
Yeah, I don't like long lines. I hated taking off my shoes and my belt and my laptop out and like all the things. But if you've traveled, you know all those things made me get TSA pre and global entry. Like even when I come back from out of the country, I can just whiz through.
Let me ask you how much you pay for TSA pre.
I paid $100 for 5 years because you got global entry. No, that's the thing. You have to go through some steps to get global entry, but TSA pre comes with it, and it's worth every penny.
Well, me and Gavin are going to laugh at your $100 that you spent because rumor has it TSA has made a rule where we don't have to take our shoes off anymore.
Make those peasants take their shoes off, please.
Now, there has been no official announcement yet from TSA, but one source, including the Wall Street Journal, that's a big deal,
that's
has
real.
claimed that this is a real thing. So if you have a flight or a trip coming up and you're going to go through TSA, don't be surprised if they don't ask you to remove your shoes.
Everything changes at airports, and from airport to airport, it's different. I just went through 3 different airports recently, and it was all different.
Yeah.
Here's what I don't understand. Remember when they spent hundreds of millions of dollars to put those machines in where you walk in, you stand there, you put your arms over your head, and it scans you? They don't even use them anymore. They have a TSA agent standing in the way of that, and they send you through a metal detector, old school metal detector.
It's so annoying. And two, sometimes I'll go through and they'll say you need to take all your computers, iPads, things like that out. And then other times I go and they're like, you don't have to do that. Like, don't treat me like I'm an idiot. But we all have to thank Richard Reed for being the one to start this whole thing with removing your shoes. It's actually been 20 years ago.
The shoe bomber.
He was known as the shoe bomber. He tried to, he actually did succeed in getting onto a flight with some type of bomb in his shoe, but thankfully nothing happened.
He was trying to light it on the plane and someone stopped him.
But they stopped him. Yeah, exactly. And that happened 3 months after 9/11. So once Richard Reed tried to do that, then he made it terrible for everybody. Now everyone has to take their shoes off.
Yeah, because it's like, that was the terrorism that they were fearing now. And so for 20 years, we've all been taking our shoes off, and there's not been another threat like that to my knowledge.
But is it because we've been taking our shoes off, and that's the reason why?
Good point.
And then TSA pre, how are they doing it? Like, how are they letting y'all go without removing your shoes?
Because you go through a screening thing, and so they mark you off as, not a terrorist, And so that's why it's like a deeper screening thing. You have to go and do like for global, you have to do an interview with somebody, and it's kind of a pain to get, but it's worth it. But again, like every time there's a new threat, that becomes the new thing that they do. And so, like, who knows what the next thing is that's going to be inconveniencing us. I mean, for a while, it was like I had to take my gummy bears out of my bag because gummy bears, they told me, look like C4 on the screen.
Who do we have to blame for that?
I have no idea. But, man, like if it's a crime to carry 4-pound bags of gummy bears in your bag, I don't even want to travel anymore. I'll just drive. Uplifting Way FM, this is The Wally Show, and I had a situation that I came across the other day in a parking lot, and I'm curious what you think about this, okay? So my wife even paused as we were getting out of our car. There's a dog barking in a car, and so there's no one in the car. It's about 85 degrees outside, 90. It's hot.
It's going to be hotter in the car.
Yeah. Window was rolled down, so it was cracked. Car was running with AC on.
No problems.
But
you have no problem with this.
There's no person in there, though.
No person in there.
And the window's open.
Little. It's a small dog, though. But, like, there was a gap.
We're good.
My wife goes, should we say something? And I said, No. I mean, the AC's on.
Yeah.
The dog's cooler than I am walking to the restaurant.
Yeah, what was her reason for thinking you should call someone?
Dog in the car.
But the window's rolled down.
It doesn't matter. There are people that would throw a brick through that window to save that dog that doesn't need saving, in my opinion. Like, the dog seemed fine. He was yappy, and it wasn't like distressed yappy. It was more that annoying little dog thing. And so, but I guarantee you there are people that are like, no, I would have called the authorities. And so this is why I want to do this.
What Would You Do is the ultimate reality show.
All right, so you're in this situation. Betty Rock and I are on different pages. She's like, no, we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Like, we would be like, yeah, it's okay. It's not a problem. I'm a little surprised. Gavin, you're a dog owner. What would you do?
No,
would
that's what
tell the managers?
No, that's what you're supposed to do. I personally, if it was a really, really quick, maybe this will be bad light on me, but if it was a quick trip into the store, I don't know if I would have left the car running.
Oh, ooh, yeah. What about if your kid's in the car?
Yeah. Well, I'm not leaving my kid in the car.
Oh my gosh, are you comparing his kid to his dog?
Some people would do that, though.
I left my daughter in a car where I never lost eyesight of her. It was back when Blockbuster was a thing. I pulled into the spot. I left the car running with the AC. I was 12 feet from her, and I put the cassette in the return slot where I could see her the whole time, and I told my wife about it. Wife lost her mind.
Yeah,
Why'd you say
as she
I know.
should.
Yeah.
Anyone could have just come up and stolen your
Locked
car.
it with the key fob. They would have had to take my life first. And so, yeah.
No, that's terrible.
So back to the dog. Okay, let's not judge me. Let's not get sidetracked.
No, let's get back to judging you. That's
let's
more
not,
fun.
Let's not do that. So we'll back to the dog example. I'm sorry I confused that. But here's the deal. What would you do? Are you that person that's like, I would have gone into the manager. I would have said something instantly. I would have called the police. I would have grabbed a tire iron and broke the window. Because I promise you, there are those people that exist. Or would you have been more laissez-faire like Betty Rock and myself and been like, I'm sure it's fine. I gotta get that steak.
Down and the car was running. I don't see any issues.
I don't disagree with you, and I didn't do anything. I did nothing. And so if that dog had something bad had happened, I would have been complicit in it. But I did nothing. And to the best of my knowledge, everything's fine. So 855-33-WAY-FM. That's 855-33-WAY-FM. You can let Betty know if she's like the most heartless, callous person on the planet or not.
We were on the same page.
I'm stepping off of it.
But not the same team.
I'm watching the phone line start to load. I'm stepping out of your team on this one. 855-33-WAY-FM. We'll take your thoughts now.
What Would You Do is the ultimate reality show.
Uplifting Way FM, this is The Wally Show. Lucy, thank you for joining us. We're doing a little What Would You Do? Here's the scenario, real life scenario. I was walking into a restaurant. The car next to me had a dog in it barking. It's 90 degrees outside. Window was rolled down and cracked. Car was running with AC on. And I just walked into the restaurant. I didn't do or say anything. I didn't alert anybody. So what would you do?
Hey, Wally, absolutely nothing. And the latter would definitely be Karen behavior. We're not doing that.
Okay, so don't be a Karen. Don't get involved. Don't throw a brick through the window or call the cops.
No, that dog is safe. Safer than me.
Yeah, because, I mean, the AC was running, and the dog, the window was cracked, and the dog was feisty. So it was obviously not lethargic or being affected. I didn't do anything because I didn't feel it was my place. I'm a real hands-off person. It's funny as I am. In my personal life, Rock, I live and let live, man.
I wish you'd be that way more at work.
Yeah, no, I can't. I got to get into everybody's business here. All right, Brittany, you're up. What would you do?
So my first reaction is they did everything right anyways, with the window rolled down and the car running. But when I think about it a little bit more, just kind of like the church answer is we did a sermon on judging on Sunday, and you never really know what's going on behind the scenes. And so when I think about it a little bit more, that person could have been running into the store to get emergency medication for their kid or something like that.
So
and when
true.
you call authorities to kind of like stop them in their tracks and hold up their day, you never know really what's going on, and maybe you're making it even more complicated for them. So.
Right, and I do get that. It was a restaurant, and they were trying to get those big fat yeast rolls faster than everyone else.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Well, emergency yeast rolls is an important thing.
Uplifting Way FM, this is The Wally Show. And so I was gone recently for my daughter's wedding, and she and her now husband chose to do a destination wedding in Ireland at a castle. very bougie. But it was actually, believe it or not, cheaper to do it that way than it was here. And we did like 4 days at this castle. Still half the cost of doing 1 day here.
What are we doing here?
We're just taking money from people, like, and just abusing the emotions. And so it was wonderful to do that. But like, there was that pressure of the daddy-daughter dance. And she was like, what do you want to do? And I said, there are songs. And she was like, yeah, like Butterfly Kisses, by Bob Carlyle. And I said, yeah. I said, let me just work on something, and I'll come up with it. And so I didn't tell her what I was doing. Mm-hmm. So basically, when she was born 27 years ago almost, I had written a song for her about her being born and how I was feeling in that moment. Because I'm a failed musician, basically. That's how all radio guys are, And so I write this song, and then I thought, you know what? I'm going to update that to what I'm feeling in this moment currently. So I write all these lyrics down, and then I pop it into an AI app and have it like write a song to go, okay, I'm going to demo this up. Then I'll get with some musician friends to produce it. It was so well done that was the song that I ended up going with. So I didn't tell her what I was doing till I announced it that night. I said, hey, Haley doesn't even know this, but this is a song I wrote for her for us to do our daddy-daughter dance to. And so she just starts crying. I'm like, yes, that's what I wanted.
Here's what I don't get. Yeah. Like, you want the spotlight. Like, you had to take it away for a minute from your daughter, your only daughter, and have it on yourself.
And like, after this, people were like her friends posted videos, and they're like, POV, when your friend's dad makes you cry at his speech and the daddy-daughter dance, it's a great day. Like, whatever. So it landed. Like, it landed with her, and it was a great moment. So here's the thing, though. I'm gonna play this because maybe somebody else is like, oh, this is a good song I'd like to use for my daddy-daughter dance.
And he wants the credit.
Yeah, I think it's kind of universal. I think I want to put this up on iTunes or something and get 99 cents a pop for it, because I think it came out really well. And not the lyrics I was happy with. But musically, I was so surprised at how well AI did on this. And so coming up in 10 minutes, I'm going to play the daddy-daughter song that I wrote for my daughter, okay? And you can see what you think. You can say, oh, that's a hit. I want that for my daddy-daughter dance. Or like, ooh, that was horrible. So we up to you. We'll do that in 10 here on The Wally Show. We get people all the time that are like, hey, do you have a good song recommendation for like a daddy-daughter dance? And, you've got the Bob Carlyle's Butterfly Kisses of the world. Hey, it's The Wally Show on Uplifting Way FM. And so recently my daughter got married, and I decided to take a song I had written for her when she was younger and then update it to how I was feeling like, now in this moment. And I didn't tell her about it. She found out about it when I made an announcement like on the DJ mic of like, hey, this is, DJ mic. Yeah, I made an announcement. I'm like, hey, Haley doesn't know about this. This is a song I wrote for her when she was little, when she was first born, and then combined to where we're at today. And I hope she likes it, kind of thing. Aww. And so here is the song that I wrote. Now, I wrote the lyrics, but then I put it into AI. This will blow you away at how good AI is, okay? Like, I can't take any credit for what AI did to this thing, but maybe this is something you hear and you go, oh, it's actually not a bad idea. I might want to try writing my own song for my daddy-daughter dance.
I've been waiting for what feels like forever, for this moment to arrive. Your hand is so tiny, but somehow it's a perfect fit with mine. I know one day I will give you away. You'll tell me, Daddy, please don't cry. But handing off my life, and I could hold her back, but I won't try. 'Cause I see her future in your eyes. She's ready now, and so am I. She's in good hands. I see how he looks at her. know we'll hold her heart and choose her every day. So tonight as I step aside, still her dad but not her life, I thank the Lord for his quiet plans. She's yours now, and I know she's in good hands.
While Betty Rock is making gestures of cheesiness, Gavin just goes, oh, that's a good line.
That's a good line.
Yeah.
I love my son to death, and I wish I had a daughter now.
Yeah, thank you, Gavin.
To give away with this song.
Here was the bring it home part, because the whole song is like she's in good hands now.
Yeah.
So when I get to the second chorus, I kind of stop and I wave Spencer over, and I let Spencer come in and finish the daddy-daughter dance. The place, like Haley
Stole the show.
Yeah, Haley's just like, oh, and then like all these other girls like in the bridal party are crying. It landed.
That was your goal, and
yeah,
you did it.
It was. I wanted to make her cry, and mission accomplished. So there you go. I highly recommend like checking out. It's Suno.com. If you're looking for that perfect wedding song, write some words, throw it in there, like learn how to use Suno. There's a bunch of YouTube videos, but you could create your own song that no one else has. I think it might be kind of cool. So there you go.
As I step aside, still her dad, but not her life. I'll always be her biggest fan, but she's yours now, and I know.
Like Betty, your dad could even write one and work in the words "toot blossom," and it would be custom to you because that's his nickname for you.
Who's excited to find out what's going on today?
It's that woo-woo.
It's news-ish on The Wally Show.
What you got, Gavin?
I am not a fan of actual camping, but I found a new term that really applies to my life, and I will do this all the time. It is called bathroom camping.
Okay. You have to set up a tent?
In your bathroom?
So,
how are you camping in your bathroom?
So the actual, what is bathroom camping? It is when you basically hang out in the bathroom to avoid stuff.
Oh, I 100%
So
get
we're not
that.
talking about going in there to use the restroom, wash your hands, do anything like that. It is something that people do to get away from people at parties.
Yeah.
Maybe you are trying to avoid work. Maybe you have a son that has been trying to crawl around and is watching Mickey Mouse all day, and you just need a second to yourself in the bathroom. That's
to cry.
To cry.
Is this why, like, I'll see TikToks of wives talking about their husbands being like, he's in the bathroom for a good solid 45 minutes.
Easy.
It's so primarily a guy thing.
Well, I think it starts off with a mom thing, though, too. Like, moms will use the bathroom to escape their kids
But
for a
they
minute.
can't.
But the kids are like, Ma!
Yeah,
Ma!
knock on the
You know,
door. If it's not the kids, it's the cat, the dog.
But see, this is where different. Like, no, honey, mommy's using the bathroom. Mommy's using the bathroom. When it's like, Dad, you just go hush. You're like, you don't even breathe.
If I don't move, they can't
you don't
see me.
move, you don't breathe, you just sit still.
Yes.
And then eventually the kid's like, Dad, guess he's not here. Mom. And you totally circumvented that.
Well, you don't even ponder the thought that maybe my kid is reaching out because he needs some life advice or he's in a medical emergency.
Man, at 4 years old, you don't need any life advice that we can't cover in an hour from now. You just need a hot second some days,
And it's funny, though, because, I read about it being something you do at work. And I have every once in a while been in there, take a breather, and just hear, Gavin,
we need this. I know, it's true, man. It's like sometimes at work when you disappear.
You can't bathroom camp here at work.
It's probably not something you should do on company
No,
hours.
definitely not bathroom camping at work. But at home, absolutely. Knock yourself out. You avoid your family as much as possible, Gavin. But I have to. Does your wife do that?
No. She's too good.
Because she
better
is
than me.
concerned about her own family and her child who might need help.
Yeah. I need time to myself too because my wife asks a lot of questions.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of questions, and that's the one place she won't ask me questions. She will though ratchet it up and text me sometimes. I'm like, come on, man, I'm trying to watch TikToks over here.
Oh my gosh.
Boy, you got a friend in me.
Betty Rock is a great friend to have. She's loyal, she's trustworthy, she's kind.
Oh, stop it.
Hey, it's the Wally Show on Uplifting Way FM, and she doesn't always get that reciprocated back in her life, you know?
Yeah, and too, being single, friendships are important to me, to the point where I started a book club at my church that's all about creating better friendships.
Oh, that's good.
And so I wanted to know how can I have a filter where I want to be a people pleaser and I want to show God's love to others, but sometimes you can leave a friendship feeling drained and you're like, why do I feel this way? And so I thought, you know what? I've got ChatGPT.
That's my best friend.
In my pocket. I mean, no, what? No. Yeah. In my pocket. And so I asked ChatGPT, could you create for me a friendship filter checklist?
This. Okay.
And so I can go, now there are many things that it came up with, but there are 3 of them that really resonated with me. So I thought I would share those in case you might be one of those people that has a lot of friends in your life, but you just feel like you're not friendshipping good enough.
Okay, so this is a filter then to help you weed out potential problems of like characteristics of people.
Find the people that really matter so that you can spend more time with them.
In essence, it's like a dating profile, but a friendship profile.
Exactly.
Okay, I love it. What did ChatGPT solve for you?
Okay, so one of the first ones, it said, here's one of the on the checklist that you should consider. Does your friend ever reach out first? Now, I have had situations like this where I find myself drained and I wonder why. Well, it's because when I look at this filter, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm the one that's always initiating. Why are they not initiating as well? Why is this always one-sided?
See, you and my daughter are in the same boat. My daughter always had to seek out the friendships because, or make the plans and stuff, because she was an amazing friend to have, but people just took from her versus investing back in her. And that's frustrating.
Right. And I think when you realize there's a friend in your life that maybe you feel like you're giving more energy than they are, that's not saying that you need to change them, but it is saying maybe you should keep some of your energy to put towards the people that are initiating towards you.
Like, I'm super invasive in Betty's life. Like,
a little
I'm the
too
one,
invasive.
I know, I'm the one that's always like, hey, we could do this, or we could do that. And then there's that wall, and so she's
boundary. I like to call it a boundary.
Yeah, or a wall, or something like that. And so I'm starting to see this now, the value in this filter. But like where you get frustrated at other people, like, I'm always reaching out. That's me with you. Yeah.
Let's not turn it into a me and you thing. This is a me and someone else thing.
Okay, well, we'll do that. You have a couple more of these?
Yes, I do.
All right, so we'll get to those in 10 here on The Wally Show. And maybe you could write some notes down from Betty's new friendship filter, and it could help you out as you figure out who you want in your life, or like Betty, who you keep out of your life, like myself. Boy, you got a friend in me. Uplifting Way FM, this is The Wally Show. And Betty Rock came up with the idea to go to ChatGPT to find a friend filter, to like find characteristics of good friendship, and she could use that as a barometer as she meets people, and you make that decision, okay, do I want more of this person in my life or a little less sometimes?
Because if we're honest, we have a limited amount of energy that we can give to others, and I think it's wise to know who those people are that you can give your energy towards.
Especially if you're a people pleaser like Betty.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I wouldn't say people pleaser because that would include everyone. If you're a people pleaser except for one person in your life that you don't care if you please
goes
at
by
all.
the name of Wally.
Right, yeah.
Then, yeah.
So you're almost a complete people pleaser.
True. But I'm sharing some of the things that ChatGPT shared with me on this friends filter. The first one that we talked about was do they ever reach out first? Yeah. So initiation. The second one that I really liked was, do I leave conversations feeling lighter or heavier?
Interesting.
Now, I have had friendships in the past where I know that our dinner is about to be here. Like, we made plans to have dinner, and I am dreading it because I have to work up this animation, or I have to carry the conversation. Yeah. And it just feels like I can't just on a whim call this person. Instead, it's about hearing all about their problems, and they're never asking me questions. Instead, it feels like I'm carrying them.
I get that because, like, honestly, I'm more of a realist / pessimist in life, and I know that that's draining for people like you, and I've legitimately tried to be different around you in some ways so that you don't walk out of the day feeling exhausted because I'm frustrated or angry about something and I'm trying to shield you from me a little bit.
Oh, so you're making yourself the hero.
I
You're
am.
making yourself the better friend here.
I am. But I'm
disagree.
trying to help you. What's the last one you got?
Okay, and the final one is, do you share anything in common besides loneliness or convenience?
Interesting.
Now, I really liked this one because as a 40-year-old single woman, there are a lot of friends that I could make that might be in my same boat, but it's because they're lonely or it's just a convenience. But once they find that man, they're up and out. And so I needed this reminder to think, wait, do we have more things in common outside of that? Because if we do, there's a better chance that once they do find the love of their life, they're not just going to leave me high and dry.
And also, too, if you guys are in the same boat and that's all you talk about, then you just feed that negativity in each other, and then it becomes draining, and then you don't want to be around that person because you get pulled down.
See, ChatGPT knows what it's talking about.
Yeah, it really did a good job. And so hopefully you made a couple notes of those, and they can be a barometer that you use as you decide who to bring in and out of your life. I think those are really good.
Whose dish is on the chopping block?
I feel the need to start off with an apology. I talked a lot this hour, and that's on me. That's my fault. But I was sharing my heart.
And it's also because you're drinking that energy drink, and you need to stop.
It's pretty great, actually. But what that means is we're down to a decision. We got to make a decision. We have 2 songs that we only have room for one more, and so we're going to have to chop one of these 2 songs. So what we'll do is we'll play you a little hook of each one. You tell us which of these songs you do not want to see get chopped. You're like, I need to hear that song. It's my favorite song. I love this. And why? We want to know why, not just, oh, it's a fun song, but like, why does this song resonate with you, and why do you want to see this song played today because you need it, okay? So, Gavin, with that said, what are the 2 songs that are on the chopping block?
Okay, so you've got Tasha Layton and her song, Look What You've Done, and Toby Mac's The Goodness.
All right, well, here's Tasha.
Look what you've done. Look what you've done in me. You spoke your truth into
I will lose my ever-loving if this gets chopped. Like, I love this song. I am such a Tasha Layton fan, but then I'm really vexed because I love Toby too. And so this is the Toby song you have to choose from, The Goodness.
Ain't no doubt about you. Everywhere that I go, you keep showing up, Lord. You make me wanna shine.
That's the one with Blessing Offer, right? I think that's got Blessing Offer in it. Yeah, that's some good stuff too. Ooh, tough call today on which of these 2 songs to chop. But remember, we want you to have a reason for the song that you are trying to keep. Like, why does that song resonate? Now, one is like heavier and like in tone, and one's more poppy, but lyrically, they both have a lot of good stuff in them. And so all you have to do is make the call right now and tell us which song you want to save from the chopping block. 855-33-WAY-FM and why. 855-33-WAY-FM. So it's Look What You Done by Tasha Layton or The Goodness by Toby Mac. Which of those 2 songs do you have to hear today? 855-33-WAY-FM. So which one is it?
Look What You've Done.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I love me some Tasha Layton, and she loves the show. She listens. That's not why I love her, but musically, I think she is fantastic. So Look What You've Done is a great song. Why do you want to save this song today?
Honestly, because my life could be a testimony as to the things that he has done. I am a person who has struggled with addiction in the past. I'm coming up on 10 years clean and sober, and I know that 100% it is not because of anything that I've done. It's only because what God has done.
There you go. And what a great reason for keeping this amazing song. It's Look What You've Done by Tasha Layton, the survivor today on Musical Chopped.
Yay.
Look what you've done. How could you fall so far? You should be ashamed of yourself. So I was ashamed of myself. The lies I believed, they got some roots they run.
Growing up in poverty has never been easy for children, but with the added challenges of the pandemic, conflict, and natural disasters, families around the world are facing an unprecedented food crisis. Unfortunately, those who are already hungry are now even more desperate. But by sponsoring a child through compassion, you can help provide life-sustaining essentials such as food and clean water. And with your compassionate support, that child can not only survive, but also flourish. You can find out how and choose a child to sponsor when you click on the compassion banner at wayfm.com.
Uplifting Way FM. If it's trending, streaming, or starring, Betty Rock's got it on The Rock Report.
There's different genres of movies. I like for instance, where you wanted to go see the F1 movie with Brad Pitt.
So yes.
I want to see the new Jurassic Park movie.
Which surprises us to no end, because you don't typically like our dinosaur movie recommendations.
Well, because you led me really wrong last time.
Sure.
It was terrible.
Agree to disagree.
But anyway, there are also a genre of movies that are inspirational movies.
I like that. I do like that. It makes those movies that you feel good when you walk out of.
Exactly. I Googled it to see, explain to me what it's like how is an inspirational movie supposed to leave you. It said it fills you with hope and optimism. It helps you see that you can overcome your adversity and achieve personal growth. So I thought it was interesting to find out what are those popular inspirational movies in case you need a little bit of inspiration.
I wonder if I've seen them all, because I don't see a lot of inspirational movies, but when I do, I like it.
Well, yeah, I would say I picked 3.
Okay.
And these 3... Well, no, 2 of them I liked. The last one I didn't see.
Okay.
But, so the first one, I think we all agree was really good. From 2016, Hidden Figures. It's where Catherine, Dorothy, and Mary, they help, they work for NASA, and they launch the astronaut John Glenn into orbit.
But there was also racial connotations of this. They were women and black women that were marginalized, and they rose above that to be amazing.
Yeah, and I loved how they dressed. I know that's probably more of
No, I get it.
I was going to say that was more of a girl thing, but...
I said yes too quickly. I should have said yes. But no, I love that clean 50s, 60s look. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, I do too. This is one of my favorite movies.
Girlfriend.
It's considered an inspirational movie from 1992, A League of Their Own.
There's no crying in baseball!
One of my favorite movies.
It's so good. It's when World War II is going on, and so they have to put together a professional all-female baseball team, and it's so funny.
Tom Hanks is in it.
Heartwarming.
Madonna,
it's so good.
Rosie O'Donnell,
Yeah.
Gina Davis. It was such a good movie. You did. You walked out of that feeling amazing. What's number 1? I'm filled with hope now.
Well, number 1 is the movie that I haven't seen, but because I know you, Wally, are such a huge fan of it, that makes me kind of it's probably not that good. But 1993's Rudy.
Yes! You will hate that movie, but it's so good. It's about a guy who is a walk-on at Notre Dame, and he has no skills to make the team, but he has heart. And they let him. He works hard. He keeps getting shot down, and then he finally makes the team. And then he doesn't get to play the entire year. Spoiler alert! And he gets in for 2 plays at the end of the game. I went to a dentist once, and they would let you pick movies to watch. I'm watching Rudy on the ceiling of the dental chair while I'm getting a root canal, and I'm crying. He goes, "Let me know if I'm hurting you," and he sees tears streaming down my face, and he stops. He's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Rudy's getting to play," and he's like, "Are you kidding me?" I'm like, "No, it's beautiful." I'm like, "Finish up," but I need to watch. And he finished, and I watched the end of the movie sitting in his chair.
Wow.
It was that inspirational.
That's why I will not go to see it.
Yeah, you're missing out, man. You'll cry and you'll feel inspired. You might even join a football team. It's that good.
I doubt it.
So there you go. Well, there's some inspirational movies for your list this weekend if you want to feel so inspired. Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show. Who's this?
Hi, this is Desiree.
What's up, Desiree?
Oh, Betty has to go see Rudy.
Okay, so now you're a woman and you liked the Rudy movie. I think it's phenomenal. It's very inspirational, and that's what we were talking about a minute ago, inspirational movies. And it's a football movie, but it's so much more than that.
It's an inspirational movie about a kid who came from nothing.
That's Betty.
And wanted to go to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
His parents had no money.
Betty, this is your story. You came from nothing, and then I found you, and I gave you your shot, and you became somebody.
Okay. if you're not going to take Wally's, at least take mine. It is a very, very inspirational movie.
See, there you
where
go.
You can come from nothing.
Yep. Once again, this is Betty's story. You were nothing.
I am everything.
And now you're kind of something.
Oh my gosh.
As somebody who has an adult child that's now married and, she's always going to be my little girl and I'm always going to look out for her, even when she's in her 50s, good Lord willing, I'm still alive. Gavin just went, I don't know if you will be. What is wrong with you?
23 more years from now.
Yeah, that's still viable, man.
You eat candy for breakfast.
I'm in my 70s.
You'll be like almost 80.
Yeah, my mom's 83. Good Lord. So, anywho,
sorry.
If I'm still alive, apparently, I will still look out for my daughter. Betty Rock had something. This is a Wally show on Way FM, by the way. Betty Rock had something that her parents did that she thought was weird, but I'm telling you, it's one of the best gifts they could give you.
Yeah, so they recently sat me down and they said, Toot Blossom, which is what they call me. That's my nickname.
Yeah, but it sounds like this. Toot Blossom.
Toot Blossom. They told me that they had put together all of their funeral arrangement plans.
Are they okay?
Yeah, they're fine. They're doing great. But they went to the funeral home and they got everything in order. All the paperwork is done to the point where they bought their own urns.
Yeah.
Like they're already bought and paid for.
Is this
Everything
how
is taken care of.
badly they want to get away from her?
Or that's how much they don't trust me to take care of it.
Yeah, you'd end up in a shoebox.
I've never had to plan
or a litter box.
Good night. A funeral before. It seems like there are a lot of steps that are hard to do when you're mourning.
Yes, and I think too that there's a lot of paperwork. Like you have to prove, you have to get a death certificate.
Multiples.
And all these, yeah, and so I think that my parents learned this the hard way through their own parents, and so they realize with me, they're like, you know what, we want to have this all done for her, and where it's the last thing she has to think about.
Marty's dad did this for her. Same thing. Through I think it was called the Neptune Society or whatever. And so he had everything set. We just had to show up, order some death certificates, and in the middle of all of her grief, to not have to do that, to not worry about his last wishes, it was the kindest thing that he could have done for her, and it was great. We would do the same thing too. Another thing is doing a trust so that all of your assets don't go into probate. They just transfer directly to her. And your parents circumvented that by just having nothing. And so
it's a win-win, I suppose.
Yeah, somehow you'll get their debt and it'll be great. But that's another thing you can do. And so here's what we want to talk about with you. How do your parents still look out for you as an adult?
Right,
okay?
Because they were doing this for my own benefit.
Yeah.
They're looking out for me, even though I'm 40 years old. They're like, you know what? You're our little baby.
And it can be little things too. Like every time I see my daughter, if I'm down in Florida, I will go wash her car and fill it up with gas for her just because I'm looking out for her, you know?
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be these grandiose things, but how do your adult parents still look out for you even as an adult? 855-33-WAY-FM. We'd love to get your perspective on this. 855-33-WAY-FM.
How have you seen your parents still caring for you even as a grown-up?
Well, most recently, they helped with my house. We bought a house or signed on a house maybe 3 years ago, and they signed for it and paid the $20,000 deposit on it and had been paying for it all these years until it finally got built in March of this year.
Oh, wow.
Of course, I'll take over the mortgage, but for the last almost 3 years, they've been paying on a house that wasn't built yet.
I believe Betty's parents said, Danny Ray said that he would do that for Betty, but it's a Barbie dream home.
No, it's a rusted out camper van, okay? And it's sitting in a back lot.
Hey, it's something.
You know what? It is something. See? NECA's happy. She'd be happy with that. You just need to be more grateful, Rock. How do you know your parents are still looking out for you, even though you are fully grown and capable of taking care of yourself, Autumn?
Well, I'm 43, and I'm a mom of 5, so me taking my kids, I've got 2 that are autistic and 1 with ADHD, so I'm constantly running them to the doctor. So when I get ill or run down, and my mom knows I'm ill, she's like, you really need to make a doctor's appointment. I'm like, no, I don't feel like it. I'm wore out. I've ran all week. So she will physically call my doctor. They all know my mom up there. She'll call up there and say, make me an appointment, and she'll just show up at my house and say, let's go. No excuses. You ain't driving. You ain't nothing. Let's go.
That's awesome. We're not even going to have someone watch your kids. We're just leaving now, you know. I love that your mom is that concerned about your health and making sure that you're taken care of, that she's going to make your doctor's appointments for you as an adult. Because she knows what you need, because you're selflessly taking care of your kids.
I was paralyzed at 17. So my mom knows that I've been through doctors and hospitals my entire life. And so she knows I'm wore down, and she knows what to look for with me when I'm getting ill. And like I said, sometimes I just can't do it. I'm like, I don't feel like going. But she's like, you're my baby, and I'm taking you.
That's it. Yeah, your mom is mom of the years kind of material there.
Yes, she is.
Well, that's the end, but it doesn't have to be. Check out our Aftercast. It's new stuff you didn't hear in the podcast. Be sure to rate us on iTunes as well as connect with us on social media. Just search Wally Show. And if you'd like to join our Facebook group made exclusively for you potties, the link is in the description of this podcast. Thanks to Colorado Christian University Online for supporting what we do.